Hello, hello. This is going to be another episode of the series Motivational Monday Live with your host, Aura Elena Martinez. And this week's episode is entitled, How Are You Responsible for You? That's Aura talk right there. So before I start this week's episode, I want to start off by introducing myself if this is the first time that you are watching this series, and also share with you what was it that motivated me or what made me create this series to begin with. So once again, my name is Arlena Martinez, and I'm a self-discovery and empowerment coach, helping women gain total clarity in their purpose so they can wake up to daily fulfillment and certainty now. Purpose is not to be limited to just a calling. And why is that? Because you could be living your calling and still not be living your most purposeful life. And this is because your most purposeful life also consists of you enjoying greater levels of mental well-being, emotional well-being, spiritual well-being, physical well-being, and why not? Even financial well-being, because every part of you and your life matters. And what prompted me to start this series is the fact that Mondays tends to be that day of the week that many are feeling frustrated, anxious, not looking forward to their week, their day. They're complaining about it. And I want to say this. If that's you, if you find yourself saying to yourself, oh my God, I got to start all over again, same different day, to not say the cuss word. If that is you, let that be your sign. Let that be your invitation for change, because that's what that is. It's an invitation for change, right? It's an invitation to transform something within yourself and in your life, because you were not designed to be dreading your week, dreading the day, dreading what you have going on. Like, that is not how you're designed to live. And it is my intention that you start looking forward to Mondays, because you know you're going to be filled up with goodness, filled up mentally, filled up emotionally, right? Filled up soul-wise. And that this series connects you each and every time to your truth. And why is it so important that you know your truth and live your truth? Because the more you live your truth, the more you're going to be able to live authentically. And when you're seeking that happiness, that joy that doesn't rely on something outside of you, that only comes from you living your authentic life, right? And you're going to start experiencing a deeper level of happiness that nothing else can beat, okay? This is why this matters more than you can possibly imagine. And it is also my intention that your level of consciousness gets lifted. This too is more important than you could possibly imagine. And this is because your level of consciousness dictates what resonates with you, what you're able to understand, whether you seek an opportunity and you're able to see it the moment it comes to you. When you notice that two people that receive the same information, they're part of the same program, they're doing the same thing, and one is successful and one is not, I can guarantee you that one of the things that played a role is that the person that succeeded, their level of consciousness was different. They were in a different level of consciousness that were able to see the opportunity, see what was really in front of them, and seize it, right? This matters more than you can possibly imagine. When you are looking outside from the first floor, cars are going to look big, people are going to look normal size, right? The buildings are going to look tall. But if you go higher up in the floor and you're on the 10th floor and you are looking outside, cars starts looking smaller, people definitely look a little more smaller. The buildings don't look as big as they looked before. And the same thing is going to happen to you the more you increase your level of consciousness, right? What was once very big, it's not going to be so big for you anymore. And what was small for you starts having a different significance in your life. This is why this matters more than you can possibly imagine. And once again, the title, or what this episode is entitled, is How Are You Responsible for You? Okay, and I want to talk about this topic this week because what I'll be mentioning are things that each and every one of us, I think, are guilty of it, right? To a certain degree. I know I'm certainly guilty of it, right? When we overlook these parts of our life, these parts of ourselves, when we don't take responsibility for these things, right? And when we don't take responsibility of these things, or when you don't, right? You rob yourself of your own power. You diminish your value. You lose trust and confidence within yourself. And you're going to spiral down, right? Mentally and emotionally. And you're going to understand why I say that in a minute. Okay, so you're going to notice that in this series, I discuss different topics, and that's because all of these topics play a role in you living your most purposeful life. Again, like I've mentioned every week, and how I mentioned also earlier, the reason why is because a purposeful life isn't limited to just a calling. And that's because there's so much more to you living your most purposeful life. It's about you enjoying greater levels of well-being in every sense of the word, right? And in order for you to do this, in order for this to happen, you must take responsibility for yourself. This starts with you. All of it starts with you. And so this is why you taking responsibility for your life, for every part of it, every part of you is very, very important, right? Whatever part of your life that you do not like, you're responsible for it being that way. I know it sounds very harsh, it sounds very cold, but when you take this approach, this allows you to see your role in how everything is, right? This allows you to see what you can do differently. This allows you to learn the lessons that you must learn. This allows you to stay away from anyone with a victim mentality. It's a big difference. Someone that they view how they're responsible for everything in their life, they don't have a victim mentality, right? So when it comes to you taking responsibility for you, what do I mean with this? Because this is going to be very important. You're probably thinking, okay, that means I must take responsibility for everything, right? And you're right. But I want to be very specific when it comes to this. And I'm only going to mention some because of the, the amount of time that I have, right? But I want to get into things that so many times we tend to take for granted, or we put aside, or we don't really take as much responsibility as we must take. So number one, take responsibility for your physical health. Take responsibility for your physical health, right? You know how many times, and I know I've been guilty of this, we disregard our health. We don't take responsibility for our health. We don't take responsibility for the way we feel, for taking care of ourselves, right? How our body feels is what I'm saying. You're responsible for your body. You're responsible for having a good communication with your body. Yes, I just said that because your body is always communicating with you, right? It lets you know when you're thirsty. You'll be surprised the ways that it lets you know that it is thirsty, right? That you are dehydrated. It lets you know when you're overstepping a boundary, right? You'll be surprised. The spirit, everything that has to do with the spirit, the mind, it's all connected. And so your body will let you know when something is out of alignment. It lets you know when you're not taking good care of yourself. It lets you know when you're neglecting a part of yourself, right? You're responsible for honoring your body's needs. You're responsible for caring for your body. And it is your responsibility to believe your body when it is letting you know that something isn't right, that something just doesn't feel right, that something that you're doing doesn't go with your body. And so I want to share the following example, the following story. So back in 2012, I was grounded for a whole week in Rome. It was the worst time that I spent in Rome. It is not fun to be sick while in a foreign country. So, and luckily I know people there, I have friends there, and luckily I speak the language. So I caught an upper respiratory infection going to Rome, which did not allow my eardrums to pop. So I was so close to bursting my eardrum. It's the most painful experience because you feel like a needle is going through your ears. It's a painful, I mean, I screamed so loud, you could hear it from the very beginning of economy class. And I was all the way in the back, mind you, on an Airbus 330. And because my ears were so full of fluid, I could not hear anything. Like someone had to be so close to me so I can hear them. And I just wasn't feeling right. They gave me 3 different medications. Now I took all those medications, and I remember that I was feeling so weak, to the point that it was hard for me to walk. My knees were very weak. And I remember I was so afraid to take a shower for fear that I would slip and fall. And so I wouldn't even shower if I felt that way. And something told me to look at, the little papers that come with every medication, telling you about the medication, the side effects. Something told me to read all of them. And I did. Luckily, because I read, speak, and write in Italian, I was able to understand the whole thing. And one of the medications that they gave me, which was prednisone, oh my God, my body was not responding well to it. It was not responding well to it. I was getting a lot of the side effects, like a lot of the side effects. And it was not like the light ones. It was like the really bad ones, right? And so I mentioned it to the doctor. I stopped taking it. The doctor recommended that I stop taking it. But let me tell you this. If the doctor would have told me to continue taking it, I would not have taken it, right? Because my body was giving me every sign that that medication was not right for me. Now, with what I'm sharing with you, I'm not encouraging you to ignore the advice of your primary care doctor, of your primary care physician, basically their doctor, right? I'm not recommending you to, or nor am I suggesting that you don't speak first with a professional, with a specialist before stopping any medication. I'm not encouraging that. But what I am encouraging is that you pay attention to your body and believe your body more than anything else, because your body doesn't lie. Yes, they're a specialist, but they're not a specialist in your particular body. And so when your body is communicating something, believe it. Believe it. That's what I'm encouraging you, to pay close attention to your body. So I had to take it upon myself to really investigate, because I wasn't feeling this way. Why am I feeling this way, right? Which medication may be causing me to feel this way? And then I had to believe my body. Of course, I communicated with the doctor what was going on, but I had to believe my body. Okay? So you're responsible also for getting yourself motivated to want to take care of your body. So this is so important. Don't expect others to motivate you. Others can only motivate you to the extent that they motivate themselves. So if someone is eating junk food, you cannot expect them to motivate you to eat differently, because they're not. They're not, right? If someone is not in the same journey as you, you cannot expect them to advise you or motivate you or guide you or expect support. Do you get what I'm saying? If for whatever reason it is so challenging for you to motivate yourself to take care of your body, then hire the support that you need. Hire the support. You either pay with time or you pay with money. Which one do you choose? You either pay with your time, taking a long time to get yourself motivated, to get yourself a long time to eating healthy, to get yourself a long time to have the health that you're seeking, or you could pay someone to get you to the result a lot faster. Which one do you choose? You either pay with time or you pay with money. All right, so remember that, okay? Number two. I'm going ahead of myself. Number 2, you're responsible for your mental and emotional health. Especially nowadays. I want to mention this because especially nowadays, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on at work. There's a lot going on, whether you're taking the train, for God's sake. I mean, if you're in New York City, you see things. And so it's so important that you take responsibility for your mental and emotional health. And what this means is that you get yourself the tools that you need to be mentally and emotionally grounded. Like, you have to take that upon yourself. Don't expect at this point work to do that for you. Don't expect that. I know that so many times we've grown up, especially if you're I forget the names of these generations, but the generations from my parents on, work was a lot different, right? It was just different, the different times. So now you have to take the responsibility for yourself to really maintain your mental and emotional health. We can no longer rely on others or external things to do that for us. We cannot. For your sake, you cannot. Okay, this means that if you're in a romantic relationship, yes, I'm gonna bring this up because the people that we choose as a partner plays a big role in our mental and emotional health, right? This means that if you're in a romantic relationship with someone that stresses you, that brings you down, You get the help that you need and you let go of that relationship. Okay, this means that you work on developing your mental and emotional resilience. Oh my God, this is so important. This is so important. This is so important. And I would dare to say you got to work on this on a daily basis. I didn't say that in the Spanish version. I'm saying this here. It's so important that you work on it on a daily basis. On a daily basis, all right? This also means, right, that you take control of the conversations that you have with yourself on a daily basis. Whether you are aware of it or not, you're always having a conversation with yourself. Okay. And this is so important because this is going to influence your mindset and how you feel. Right. This requires you also for you to take care of your mental and emotional health. This is going to require you to be aware of how people and things affect you. Because the people around us, the people around us, the people in social media, all of that stuff affects you. Work affects you. And so you need to be mindful of how the people that you're surrounding yourself by, how work, how social media, how you interacting with others. Like, it's going to be so important. If you really want to maintain your mental and emotional sanity, it's important that you raise your level of consciousness and your level of awareness of yourself. Thank you for the likes. And understand how these things are affecting you. Is it affecting you positively? Is it affecting you negatively? It's a neutral. Let me tell you this. Even if it affects you neutral, it's very important for you to be mindful of that. And not that neutral is necessarily a bad thing, but it isn't really a good thing. So you want to have as much things as possible, as many people as possible, as many experiences as possible that really lifts you up. That is part of you maintaining your mental and emotional sanity, your mental and emotional health, okay? I didn't say that in the Spanish version, so I don't know who needs to listen to this that speaks only English, all right? You being responsible for your mental and emotional health requires you to be in touch with your emotions. Oh my God, this is so important. Don't you dare gaslight yourself. Oh, this doesn't matter. Oh, probably I'm just imagining things. I'm just thinking things. Oh, this isn't whatever. No, it is your responsibility to be in touch with your emotions, right? To understand your emotions and to do what's best for you to transform that emotion. If it's an emotion that when feeling it for prolonged periods of time, or if dwelling on it, it's not going to be positive for you. Okay. You having a healthy mind and spirit, emotion, heart, it requires you to adopt the right perspective that will serve your greater good. OMG, this is so important. And I'm going to tell you this. I didn't mention this in the English version. I don't know who needs to listen to this. But whenever it is difficult for you to get the right perspective on something, like you're not able to shift your mindset about work, you're not able to shift your mindset about a relationship, that is even information for you to pay mind, right? That's something for you to be mindful of, because that too is information that you cannot afford to ignore. Sometimes we make ourselves wrong when it's difficult to shift our perspective on something. But probably the reason why it's so difficult for you to shift your perspective is because you're not meant to be there anymore. Do you get where I'm going with this? This is why I'm a big believer that everything that you feel, everything that goes on within you, none of it is to be dismissed. Absolutely none of it, okay? And when it comes to your mental and emotional health, this also means that if you need support in this area of you in your life, that you get the support that you need. That you get the support that you need, right? This also means that you are mindful of the conversations that you have with others. Oh my gosh. We tend to ignore this when we shouldn't, right? And the reason why this matters is because if you have conversations that drain your energy, right? This will have an impact on your mental and emotional health. Again, many times we take this for granted and we shouldn't, right? Now, I'm going to say the following too, because this too has an impact on your mental and emotional health. You are responsible for living a life that you love. OMG, right? And sometimes this on its own can feel difficult because, oh my God, well, probably I need the resources, or I don't have the connection, or I don't know the people, or whatever. No. You are responsible for living a life that you love. There's nothing more soul draining than doing monotonous tasks, right? Doing a job that you do not enjoy, being around people that don't light you up, right? Not living a life that you know that you're meant to live. All of this is going to lead to frustration, boredom, etc. And all of this is going to lead to you programming yourself to believe and think certain things, which only keeps you in the same cycle that you're in. So the decision that you make when it comes to a job and a career matters. The decision that you make when it comes to the friends, who you're going to be friends with, who you choose to be your friend matters. Your environment matters. Even who you choose as a partner, a romantic partner matters, right? And this is going to take me to my next point, right? And this is something else that you must be responsible for. And that is, you're responsible for your love life and your heart. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is going to be a juicy one. And I think what I'm about to mention, it applies to each and every one of us, right? It applies to each and every one of us. Let me first start with the heart. And this is because the heart is the center of everything. And notice that when you feel a heavy heart, right, due to a loss, due to whatever it is, this is going to diminish your capacity to produce. This is going to diminish your capacity to do things. You can't even seem to think straight. Notice when you have a heavy heart, you can't think straight, right? If you look at the Bible, now I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, but I believe in God. And I do believe that the Bible to me is like the first book of well-being. So I'm going to use the oldest book that exists to prove my point. If you look in the Bible, Proverbs 17:22, it reads, "A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." Mm-mm-mm. Do you get the impact of this? Do you really get the impact of this? Right? You want to be mindful of who you give your heart to. You want to be mindful of that, because that person that you choose can either expand your heart or it could crush it, right? Who you choose as a romantic partner matters. And the reason why for this is because your future is at stake, right? Your health is at stake. You think someone cannot make you sick? Of course they can. Right? Your vision is at stake. Your desires is at stake, or are at stake. Your desires, not just one, all of them are at stake, right? Your happiness is at stake. All of it is, right? If you don't like, thank you for the hearts. If you don't like how your love life is, or you don't like who you have chosen in terms of the men that you have chosen along your life, or the women that you have chosen in your life, it's going to be important that you take a step back and see the role that you played in all this. This is going to be very important, right? Because you taking a step back, this allows you to understand yourself better and know what it is that you need from a partner, and learn the lessons that you were meant to learn from your prior relationship. This is why I'm a big believer in not jumping from man to man and women to women, meaning one relationship to another. You end the relationship and you're starting another relationship. No, you need that space. You need that space, right? And the reason why this is so important is because when you don't give yourself that space, you rob yourself of the time that you need to really assess and learn the lessons that you are meant to gain. And if it hasn't worked out for you before, if you look back, you will realize that if only you would have paid close attention and you would have trusted yourself, your intuition, you would have known right from the beginning that that was not the right person for you. I can guarantee it, right? If a man or a woman talks so much about an ex, right? They sound like they're hung over that ex, or they're still talking constantly with that person as if there's some ashes there, something rekindling, that is your red flag that that person is not ready to start a new relationship. Do yourself a favor and walk away, right? If the guy did something to another woman and vice versa, if a woman did something to a guy or whatever, right? Very wrong. And he shares with you that piece of information. He just shared with you something so valuable that is a red flag for you to run like your ass is on fire, right? Just run away. Please don't think that you are so special that that person is not going to do to you the same thing that they did to the other person. Trust. It's only a matter of time for them to do to you the same thing that they did to someone else. Do not think you're too special. One of the biggest mistakes that women make is that they think they're too special, right? I've been guilty of that. You think you're so special that he won't do the same thing that he did to another woman. No, he's going to do it to you. He's showing you how he treats people, right? If that person is in a relationship, walk away. Oh, walk away. Walk away. And this is because they're not going to have the space for you. They're not going to have the energy for you, right? They're not going to have the respect that you deserve and that you're craving. They're not going to have it for you, right? And all this that I mentioned applies to each and every one of us, even to me, right? We have to take responsibility for our love life, the choices that we make when it comes to who we decide to date. It's so important that we take responsibility over that. All this that I just mentioned puts you in a position of getting hurt. Guaranteed. Okay? And what did I mention about the heart? What does the Bible mention about the heart? All right? And so this is almost leading me to point number 4. But before I say that, don't put yourself in a position where it is obvious, it is guaranteed that you're going to get hurt. Don't do that to yourself, right? When choosing a partner, it's so important that you, number one, heal yourself. Heal yourself. And this applies whether it is a man or a woman, not just women, also for men, right? Because if you have ego, if you feel like, oh, I got to date a lot of women and show myself off so I can show that I am macho, you have issues. You have issues. A secure man, because that's a boy behavior, a man secure in himself that has a direction and know where he's going and what it is that he wants, he does not need to engage in that kind of behavior. That's ego, that's boyish behavior, right? So that's an indicator that there's some healing there for you to do. So if you are hungry for love, that means that you are not ready for love. And when I say hungry, I'm not talking about a normal need. I'm talking about you're desperate. I'm talking about I have to be with this person that you're not ready for. Okay, you're not ready for it. Make sure your self-esteem is basically intact. Okay, make sure that you're almost healed, not necessarily 100%. There's a reason why I say that, right? I don't think anybody is 100% healed when they enter a relationship. And if you wait until you're 100% healed, you're probably never going to get into a relationship, right? Because healing has its processes, healing has its time, and also we grow through other people, right? And so when you enter a relationship, inevitably, that other person's going to challenge you and may bring aspects of you, parts of you that you did not know that you have within you. And that's part of your healing. That's part of your growth, right? This is why I say almost healed, right? Because the healing, I don't think, ever stops. Number 2, another thing that you're going to want to do when choosing a partner is you must be grounded in who you are, and you better know who you are. This is so important, right? You're part of that equation of that relationship. And so you must know yourself, know your needs, take care of your needs, be accepting of who you are. And this also includes point number 3, and that is know where you're heading, AKA a vision. Now, I'm going to tell you this. The reason why this matters, you having a vision matters more than you can possibly imagine, is because a vision gives you direction, right? And when you have direction, you know where you are heading, you know where to go, where not to go. And this also includes that this is going to indicate to you the kind of people that you need in your life, especially the kind of partner that you need in your life to help you fulfill that vision. This is why this matters more than you could possibly imagine. Can you imagine two people getting together? One knows that he wants a marriage and he wants to get together and da 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 da. The other person, oh no, I just want to be free. That is going to lead to why even start dating? Do you get where I'm going with this? One has a vision, the other one doesn't even have a vision. That's just an example, right? And number 4, know exactly what you're looking for in a partner. This too matters as well. Because when you know exactly what it is that you're looking for a partner, and this includes, I want to say this, because I think nowadays we're living in a very superficial world for the most part. It's so important that you don't just look at looks, look at the brains of a person, right? Look at the heart of the person. The physical part is the part that we can easily manipulate. It's easier to transform your body than it is to transform your mind, than it is to transform your heart. This is why you want to be mindful of what is a person's values, what is the person's belief. The more you understand what it is that you're looking for in a relationship, this will allow you to not even waste your time. This is going to allow you not to waste your time. Now I'm getting tongue-tied. I'm also jet lagged because I came back yesterday from Milan. But anyways, there is so much to consider when it comes to a partner, but this is just the basics, okay? The 4th thing for you to be responsible for is you're responsible for having a healthy self-esteem and loving yourself, okay? Anything or anyone that diminishes your self-worth, it is your responsibility to get rid of it, okay? Anything that doesn't make you feel more love for yourself, it is your responsibility not to allow it in your life. It is your job to do the inner work necessary to heal the parts of you that need healing. It's nobody else's job. It is your job, right? When you do not have a healthy self-esteem and you don't have love for yourself, this is going to affect everything, absolutely everything in your life. You're not going to take the necessary action that you must take, right? Because of that lack of self-esteem and self-trust. You will choose things and people that may not be right for you because, again, you choose according to how you think about yourself and how you feel about yourself. When you have a higher self-esteem, you don't allow BS, right? You don't allow mistreatment. But when you have low self-esteem, any little breadcrumb is going to be enough, right? And so this is why I say that all of this, it affects everything in your life, etc. The list goes on. And then the 5th thing that you're responsible for is that you probably wouldn't even think that I would say this. You're responsible for creating opportunities in your life. This too is very important, right? That's right. I had to mention this. Sometimes we want people to come to us and opportunities to come to us, but we must let go of that idea. If we want success in our life, if we want to feel good in our life, if we want to feel passion in our life, we have to let go of that idea of waiting for things to come to us. We have to go after it, okay? Except for men. You don't go after men and you don't go after buses. Just saying. Women don't go after men. Just saying, okay? You don't go after men. You go after goals, but not that, all right? So it's important for you to create the opportunities. If the way that you are living, you do not like, forge yourself another way, right? Knock on doors. Allow yourself to be rejected. Allow the rejection. Now, I say that in quotation marks. And the reason why I bring this up is because this whole idea of being rejected, right? And I say it in quotation marks because there's no such thing as rejection, right? This is one of the things that can deter us from really taking action, from really going for it. But if you let it stop you, it's going to stop you from opening opportunities, from opening doors for yourself, right? So allow yourself to receive the rejections, right? And what doesn't seem available to you, create it. Create it, right? Nothing happens when you sit and wait. That's just truth, right? Things happen when you take inspired action and when you take the action that is right for you according to where you are at in your journey. This is very, very important. It's your responsibility to find the help that you need. Oh, this is so important, right? It's your responsibility to open doors for yourself. One of the worst things that you can do is wait for things to come to you. It's just not happening, right? And another thing that doesn't help at all is waiting to be ready. Oh my God, you don't know how much I've heard. Oh, I'm waiting to be ready. There's no such thing, right? I'm going to tell you this. You're never fully ready for the things that you say that you want. Trust. You're never fully ready, right? You're responsible, as you can hear, for absolutely everything. You're responsible for absolutely everything. So that means your love life, your body, how you feel, your mental health, your social life, like all of that. And so when you start seeing things from this perspective, this is when you start taking your power back. You start understanding yourself in a deeper way. And the reason why I say this is because when you take a step back to understand why you made the choices that you made and what state were you in when you made that choice, this is what's going to allow you to understand yourself in a deeper way. And so the more you understand yourself in a deeper way, the better choices you can make. You can make different choices from the choices that you have made in your past, right? And the list goes on. And so it's so important for you to take responsibility for every aspect of you in your life. So share this message with other people, by the way. You never know who needs to listen to this message. You never know who isn't taking full responsibility for their life. And this is the message that will make them say, oh, you know what? Oh, yeah, this is why my love life is the way it is. This is why I feel the way I feel, right? And so if you are ready, if you're ready to no longer blame someone else, if you are ready to take charge of your life, if you're ready to gain your power back, if you're ready to gain clarity, if you're ready to do the inner work necessary, if you're ready to transform that block, I'm going to recommend that you schedule your clarity call with me. Because if you love everything that I share, imagine what it would be like to work one-on-one with me. On that call, we're going to go over where you are now, where you would like to be, what is necessary to close that gap, and how I'm able to help you close that gap. You don't need to be confused. You don't need to be going in circles. You don't need to be in low self-esteem, lacking self-love, lacking clarity. Absolutely not. That ends the moment you schedule that clarity call with me. I'm always placing that link. You can message me and we can schedule that call for you. And again, share this message with other people. You never know who in your circle isn't taking responsibility in one area or more of their life. And this is the message that can change so much for them. So with that said, it is my desire that you live life to the max the way you are destined to live. And until next time, bye for now.